welcome everybody to Midweek Mindfulness. Uh, I am, for anybody who's new, I'm Roger Mancastroppa. I go affectionately by Mac, and I am delighted to just be sharing this mindfulness series or opportunity for people to learn a little bit more about mindfulness as and meditation. And so I thought maybe I'd talk a little bit about that since we haven't done that for a long time. So mindfulness is um, the action or behavior of being present in the moment in a very non-judgmental way, right? So we're aware of what's happening inside of us emotionally, our thoughts, but we're also very aware of what's happening outside of us, and the interchange between those things. And by bringing non-judgment to that practice, we find that we're able to be more accepting of what's actually happening. And that doesn't mean passively resigned if something inappropriate is happening. And that's not it at all. But we accept that what is happening in the moment is happening so that we're not internally fighting against what's happening. And we can bring all of our resources to bear, whether that's enjoying a beautiful sunset or being able to manage an awkward comment by someone that has said something that was uncomfortable to a member of the group, or the death of a loved one, or whatever happens to be coming up in your life, right? So it's one of those skills that enables us to from my experience, to really truly live life more fully, and to really embrace the feelings and the thoughts and the the different things that are going on inside of us, so we can start to see in some ways what we would like to keep and what we would like to let go of, right? There's certain aspects to ourselves that we want to build the strength of, and other aspects we think, yeah, maybe we'll just let that go for now. It's not serving me in this moment, so maybe it's not that it isn't a part of my expression, but right now it's not really serving me. So meditation then is the practice that we engage in order to build our mindfulness muscle, so to speak. So in meditation, what we do is we restrict the sensory input that's coming in, right? Visually, auditorily, what we're touching and sensing with our sense of touch. We tend to very often be very quiet with our speaking, right? Because the practice of speaking engages the thoughts, and it's a part of the process. So reducing that significantly, or using a particular mantra or a poem or something that allows us to, again, begin to practice bringing our awareness or our point of focus to one particular thing, right? And that's the strength that we build, is the ability to really be aware of just one thing at a time, right? That's one of the amazing things that comes out of this practice, so that we can be fully present with whatever's happening. Now, that one thing in practice, right, over time, we then start to grow that out, and we hold a couple things in our awareness at the same time, being fully present with both of them, and then three, and then, so that eventually we can have a really rich, deep, like another metaphor that we use in mindfulness is, very often we have a little tiny espresso cup of ability to manage certain things, right? Think about like your pet peeves or the things that often annoy you. That cup fills up really fast and then it overflows, right? And when it overflows, then we overflow along with it. So the bigger the cup that we build through our meditation practice, as well as taking our meditation out into, or the practice that comes from meditation out into our everyday life by being mindful, the greater our ability to manage the things that come along in a way that allows us to experience the full expression of what it means to be a human being in in a world that doesn't often provide us that, just by its very structure, right? there are a lot of things in our environment that condition us to behave and to think and to feel and to believe in different ways. Um, and the difference between being mindful about that and not being mindful is when you're not mindful, you're just controlled by those things. But when you're mindful, if it's something that you appreciate, then you make the choice, right? Like, yes, this is something I want in my life, right? This is meaningful to me. If you don't develop the awareness, then again, there's a lot of mental suffering that goes on top of just the normal difficulties in life, as well as the pleasures, right? Like a basic understanding of addiction would be somebody who so enjoys a particular thing or the feeling that it provides that they're willing to sacrifice all kinds of other things in order to continue that feeling, right? And when we think addiction, we often think of like certain types of drugs or like alcohol as a drug that can create that addiction in people. Um, and there's all kinds of things involved with that. Some of that is very physiological, and some of it is just response to environment. And very often it's the response to environment that then puts you in a situation where, you know, our biology then takes over and it becomes even more problematic. So, in thinking about that, we don't have to go all the way to there. This could be, how much you turn to your phone, right, as relief from your daily stresses. So this is something that the current generation who's coming through high school and into college, they're dealing with this all the time. Is, how great does it feel to get a like on a particular app because you get that dopamine response in the brain, which is the same thing that like alcohol does to the body. But again, it doesn't have to be negative, right? Like being physically active also provides dopamine and endorphin response in the brain, and it's really good for us and it makes us stronger. So it's not about judging what's happening as good or bad. It's about, is this beneficial? Is this healthy? Is this something that I want in my experience? And so we want to develop that part of ourselves so that we're able to be able to manage that in a more meaningful way. Um, and what I've also really noticed is that it's offered the chance not only for me to grow as a person. I used to be very angry when I was in the military and coming out of the military. I was angry at all kinds of things, um, and it's allowed me to find real peace and happiness and joy in my life that never existed there without it. And it's not the only path to that. I'm not suggesting that it is by any stretch, but it is one that I definitely have found great joy and great satisfaction in the practice. So I'm delighted to be here sharing this with all of you today. So I thought we might start with kind of a basic practice, just having people connect to their breath, allowing their bodies to begin to relax and to settle. One of the things that um, meditation we often think of, but really just controlled breathing does is it allows us to deactivate or to lower our sympathetic nervous response and to increase our parasympathetic nervous response, which is what we think of when you think of sympathetic. We often think of fight or flight, whereas we think of parasympathetic, it's rest and digest, right? It's so what allows us to be really in more of a place of healing. And it's truly the balance between the two, right? That perfect level of homeostasis that allows the body to thrive and to grow and to become stronger. So again, if you think about the stress that we often maintain in our bodies all day long because of all the different things that we have to manage in our environment, the practice is to come and to learn to relax, really relax the body, really relax the mind, and take that time and set it aside so that we're really practicing letting go of everything else and just really focusing on one point, whether it's the breath and the relaxation, whether it's a mantra again, or it's a poem or something along those lines. For some folks it's a prayer, like whatever falls into your understanding of what is calming and relaxing and bringing that sense of awareness to what's actually going on in the moment. So, so go ahead and find a comfortable way to sit. We want to be, if at all possible, we want to be sitting with the spine upright, right? And the spine nice and tall. Let the head balance on top of the spine. If this, for some reason, is uncomfortable for you, for whatever reason, right? Find a position that's comfortable. The most important thing is that we are physically comfortable and mentally alert. Those are the two things that we're looking to bring together. So finding a comfortable position. And that could be reclining. Like, we all have different, ableness, right? So please, take care of yourself in this moment and honor wherever you are in that journey. But we want to be physically comfortable, and we want our mind to be alert. So as much as possible, we want to set aside the time and space where we can kind of to withdraw, right, for practice, to be able to really focus our mind. Now, ultimately, we want to take that practice and we want to engage with it in the world, because there's no point in, being calm and peaceful on the cushion and really like experiencing everything and then going back to your life and just falling back into the old ways of, of just getting caught up in the flow of whatever's happening. So, but the place that we start is in a nice quiet place so that we can practice. We're putting on our gym clothes, we're going to the gymnasium, right? We're refining our environment so that we can practice this particular thing. Now, it's perfectly okay to have meditation friends with you. I have lots of little friends with me since we've been at home. You can't see the other ones around the room, but they're here. So that's no issue at all. It's up to you and what your environment looks like and feels good. I'll be playing some music that is relaxing and comfortable. I'll keep it fairly low. If this ever becomes an issue, you're welcome to put in the chat box that the music is distracting, and I'll be more than glad to just slowly fade that out. Again, we have a group here, so we're trying to find our way as a group as well. So go ahead and begin to just get settled into your position and simply begin to notice that you're breathing, right? In and out the end of your nose, if you're able to do that. Just drawing your awareness to your breath, and I will invite the bell to get us started. Noticing the sensation of the breath as it comes in the tip of the nose or into your mouth if you can't comfortably breathe through your nose. Feeling the diaphragm push downward, feeling the lungs expand as the air moves into the body, expanding the chest, the rib cage. Really feeling your tummy or your abdomen expand down deep. Taking note that diaphragmatic breaths activate our parasympathetic nervous system. That diaphragmatic movement of slow, long breaths activates the vagus nerve that connects with the brain stem, that then offers very specific stimuli to the brain, letting it know that we're safe, we're comfortable, and we are focusing. And if you begin to control your breath just a little bit, making sure that you have a full breath in to whatever's comfortable, noticing what is comfortable for your body. but then extending your exhale, extending it out so it's even longer than your inhale. Again, that particular pattern of breathing communicates to the body that we're safe. It's the same general pattern that people have when they sleep. And of course, if we're not safe, the body won't allow us to sleep because it's better to be safe, than well rested. And with each out breath, just begin to notice your body relaxing more and more, getting heavier and heavier. And all we have to do is bring our awareness to a particular place in the body that may be holding tension. And notice that we're also breathing at the same time. And then watch what happens to that little muscle group, whether it's the forehead and the brow, those little muscles around the eyes, temples. Maybe noticing the shoulders or the neck. Moving down into your arms, your elbows, just feeling the pull of gravity on your forearms and hands as they completely and totally relax. And you may have noticed that your mind is very curious. It has all kinds of questions about what's happening, or it may notice different sounds in the environment. It may have different feelings arising. Those are all perfectly normal and natural. It's just being human. Have you ever noticed that one of those feelings, or maybe your thoughts, start to become overwhelming? Then just open your eyes. Notice your environment again. Allow yourself to reground in that place, in that time, in that moment to what's around you physically so that you can connect. But if it's just a little challenging, or if it's even kind of a lot challenging because these thoughts keep coming, that's totally and perfectly normal, right? That's how the mind works. So just take note of whatever the thoughts happen to be, or whatever feelings may arise. Common thoughts are, this seems silly, or wow, I have better things to do. Or, our mind will tell us all kinds of things based on how it's been conditioned and what we believe to be important. So if that happens, just again, take note of what your mind thinks is important. And then on the out breath, release the thought. Just let it pass on through. Let the feeling express itself and pass through. And then come back to your breath. Get back to the sensation of your body. Maybe noticing the stretch of the rib cage on the in breath and the relaxation on the out breath. Just noticing all these different parts of our bodies as we continue to breathe in and breathe out. Maybe notice your knees, your thighs, your calves. Maybe the touch of the feet against the floor, or your socks or shoes, or whatever you happen to be aware of. Again, not bringing judgment to any part of our bodies, just being aware of the muscles and the breath and how they connect the body and breath. But always coming back to the breath, back to the breath, back to the breath, nice and gently. A handy tool if you ever feel like your mind is just not able to calm down, or it's so strong that it's every moment is a challenge. Give it something to do with just mentally repeating the words to yourself on the in breath. I know that I am breathing in. And on the out breath, I know that I am breathing out. I know that I am breathing in. I know that I am breathing out. Again, allowing your breath to deepen. Nice long exhale. Perhaps beginning to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes as we gently return to this place, this time, becoming aware again. And I'll invite the bell. And whenever you're ready, just gently opening your eyes. So if it's of interest, starting daily practice, which of course is the strongest way to incorporate this, find your comfort level. Maybe start with 3 minutes or 5 minutes a day. See if you can connect it to something that you do all the time on a regular basis, like brushing your teeth or things along those lines. That's wonderful, Nancy. No, I so appreciate everyone who is, managing that situation because it is so challenging, particularly in the K through 12. So thank you for the work that you're doing. And I really am glad and hopeful that this will help. But if you ever have a curiosity, if there's ever more that I can do for anyone who's interested in this, feel free to always reach out to me via email, which I am putting in the chat box right now, as well as I look for opportunities for classes that I'll be sending out. I didn't send that to everyone. I sent that to Leah. I'll put those out on Spider Bites. So as long as you're checking your Spider Bites, you'll see those, and I can let us know next week. But have a wonderful week, and I'll see everybody next week at Midweek Mindfulness. Take good care.